Hello, y'all. Today I've had a lot of requests, not just today, but a lot of requests about otters, and I don't really get to do a whole lot of videos on them. I got one here. I took out. It's been thawed overnight. The guy who skinned it left the tailbone in it, which for this purpose I'm glad he did, so I can show you guys how to do the tailbone. And I'll make another video later on of skinning an otter. All I do is take my scalpel. These might be a little freezer burnt. I think they held them over a while. And I'll do some close-ups as we go. Just don't mind the phone shaking, guys. I'm going to spin this around so I can pull down. Just follow that right on down, clear to the very end of the tail. Clear to the very point. Okay, let me adjust the camera just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to try to do this sitting in this chair. Get you guys. And just start working around that edge. There will be a great big old gristly fat pockets. Just hug that bone. And I'm going to do the whole process of scraping. I ain't going to stretch this one, but I'll put it on a stretcher if I got one in here to show you guys how to do it. How I would stretch them and dry them. Or sometimes I just salt dry a few things if I'm in a real bind. Like I usually am. I always overload my plate. And I'll show you how to score these so it makes them a lot easier to scrape. A lot of people don't like doing otters, but I don't mind them. This one might be different. It might be a little bit freezer burnt, like I said. Okay, now once you get that bone to start going around to the backside, just come in and cut that fatty, gristly stuff. Excuse me. Once you get the top busted loose, it'll make it a lot easier. Just be careful coming around this bone, which if it's on a carcass, you ain't gonna have to do this. See how that's separated? I can get my finger under there now. Just give the top part a pull, but don't pull down here because you will pop the end of that tail off. Just keep coming on down. Get as much as that. Once you get to the back side and there's only a little layer, you can pull it off then. And I'm talking from experience. I have got in a hurry and knocked a couple tips of tails off. And it can happen when scraping too, which I'll go into that. See how it got tight there? You don't want to pull too hard. Okay, now the tip, I always come in. There's a little membrane on that backside. If you pull right there, you will pull that whole tip of that tail off. And I always use my fingers to hold it so I don't pull the tip. See how it pulled a little bit of hair out of the end? But that's the removing the tail on an otter bone. Okay, then you lay this out. You see these lines right here? Them are great big thick fat pockets. You just go in and score them down to the leather, and believe it or not, it don't take a lot of pressure. And then see how you get down here and that tail wants to close back up? That's because there's a big old fat pocket in there. When I'm done, this tail will lay flat. And sometimes I score mine a lot, because the more you score it, the easier it comes off for me. That's just how I do it. And you come clear on down to where the end of that tail folds out. And I use my thumb a lot to put behind there. See how that just flattens out and opens right up? Just stick your thumb on there, give it a little pull, and you will score the hide a little bit down here. Especially using a scalpel and a big knife. Skinning knives, you can do it, but just got to be careful how much pressure you put. And if you stick your finger behind there, you'll feel that little edge start to roll out. And see how it's clear down to the hide. This otter was caught early, it's a little bit blue. And I come all the way up to the top, and I'll score it again. This thing will look like Swiss cheese when I'm done, but it just makes that fat and stuff come off that tail so much easier for me. Like I said, I use my fingers a lot. If I can feel a bump on the back, I'll go back there and I'll score it. And then since I'm right-handed, I gotta flip mine around. And this is all a little goofy backwards to me. Stick my hand behind there and just feel for it to roll out. And if you have a problem gripping these hides, you can put a little salt on your hands or your gloves But just a little warning, salt will dry your skin out if you don't use gloves really bad. And it'll give you some grip on these thick oily hide. See right there? There will be a knife mark there. I got a little carried away on that part. Alright, that's how I... Oh, missed the spot. That's how I score and prep my otter tails for fleshing. See how it just kind of lays open now? The end will never lay open, but there's a little spot. Just take your time and I'll show you in the next part of this video. Let me grab my brush real quick. I'll brush it and turn it inside out and show you how to split the lips. This brush right here will save you a lot of headache and holes. Okay, these otters got a huge fat pocket right there above their whiskers. Which there ain't no lip left on this one from the way it, well, there is right there. But I always come in, I cut that fat pocket out right away. Or meat pocket is actually what it is. I gotta change my blade. It comes clear up there to the edge of the nose. If you don't clean that head meat off, the hides will slip. Around the ears, the eyes. I know fur buyers don't need it, but if you ever decide you're going to tan some stuff, you'll wish you had. See, I'm down to them whiskers. I just try not to cut too many ends off, but it happens. Then I'm going to leave the other side and I'll take it off with a fleshing knife if it ain't too dry. Get down to where you can see them whisker butts. You know, then the little stuff between there, it'll dry up like jerky. On an otter, there ain't a whole lot around the ears. I will cut that membrane, but when I'm scraping it, I actually just cut all that off. Otter don't have much of an ear, but there's the lip, and you can see how the meat goes clear up to the eyeball. And you get good enough scraping, you don't have to do this with a scalpel. I'm just showing you guys. But yeah, I'll be back. I'm going to get set up for scraping with part 2. Alright guys, we got the otter on the beam. I'm going to do up here around the head like I told you I do with the fleshing knife. An otter, you don't have to use the sharp side of your knife. once you get it to roll, but these Weeby Pros, they come really, really sharp. And then you got to watch out for rough cuts where they cut that bottom lip off. That's just whisker ends. And that's my sharp side, but I wouldn't recommend pushing like I am. See that ear butt? I told you we was just going to cut it right off. Watch getting on the edge of your beam. Pop holes that way. We'll spin it a little bit. And this is what we talk about with excessive knifing. There's a whole bunch of knife cuts right there. Pull it up to the front leg. Make sure there's no wrinkles. And these tags always make it difficult to hold your hide in place. See, there's some more knife cuts. You want to go real easy right there. Grab that front leg, pull it up. Flip it around. You got one strip here on the back of the head. See all that gristle right there? It's probably an old scar. I ain't gonna go too deep, don't wanna blow it out. Alright, we're about done with the tail. Now once it gets slick, it's kind of hard to hold on to. Start on that side, peel it down, come to this side. Once you get it to rolling, stop the hide from slipping. Let me grab a towel. It's kind of hard to hold that on there. I got a small beam. Make sure you have no nicks in your beams. That'll be a spot where it rips. You down to the end. Just go over it a few extra times, make sure you got her. Make sure you set your knife where it won't roll off. That one's got round handles, it'll roll. That's a scraped otter. I don't have no stretchers right now. I'll do another video on stretching fur. That's how the tails come out. And if you was at Bloomfield, you would have heard us talk about excessive knifing. That's almost down. You can see the hair follicles. He almost went all the way through. And up here in the chest. Like Dale says in his skinning videos for beaver, I'd rather have extra on than a bunch of holes in the hide. But that's splitting the tail and scraping an otter. So here's the final scraped otter. Nice, clean. Here's what the tails should look like. They shouldn't have no tendons, no membranes, no nothing. So if you guys like this video, please hit that subscribe button. Share it, comment on other animals you want to see, other stuff you guys are having trouble with that I can maybe do a short video to help you. And that's about it, y'all. Have a good day.